YouTube, what up? It's your boy, Young Wavy. Forever. Just came to give y'all a quick brushing session. I'm 5 weeks in. 5 weeks. Came to show y'all how I brush my hair, how I brush my crown. Shout out Crown Quality Products, Team CQP. Shout out to my Facebook friends, subscribers on YouTube. You know, got any requests, hit my inbox. I'll answer any questions. No questions a stupid question. So basically, stuff I'm using today: Annie Blue, Annie Wave Comb. For y'all that would like to purchase this, it's called the Annie Wave Comb. Yes, like the brush Annie. Annie makes combs. Comes in a 2-pack, blue and green. Matter of fact, I got the other one. Y'all think I'm lying. They come blue and green. There's a similar brush out there. It's called a Crest 6000. Same design, different name. So we're going to start out by combing them out. Then we're going to go over it with my Caesar brush. Softy. Custom. And then we're going to go over with the Softy handle brush. Custom. And of course we got our Annie mirror on deck. So, and remember people, a mirror is a mirror. You don't need an Annie mirror. You know, and you can use whatever brush you want to use. You know, whatever brush is in your arsenal. It's the same technique. You know, each brush is going to brush your hair different, but it's the same technique you're going to use. So we're just going to start out by combing it out. You know, comb around the crown. A little something first. You know, comb the same way you brush your hair. Combing basically just aligns your waves, better your connection, finds your connection. You know, it helps you, you know, get around your crown. For those of you looking for your crown, it also helps you. It also helps you find, like, the direction in which your hair grows. You know, it's a key thing. You must find out the direction each side of your hair grows in, and brush and comb in that direction. You'll find that by doing that, your hair will lay down better. You know, because basically when you're having trouble laying your hair down, it's basically just hair overlapping hair. And if you're not brushing it right angles, you're not gonna find your connection. You're not gonna better your connection. You're just gonna keep fighting with yourself. So the best thing to do, start out with a low cut. You know, brush your hair consistently in the same pattern, same strokes, same speed. You know, apply the same amount of pressure with your brush when you're brushing, consistently, evenly, all the way around your head. You know, you don't want to apply too much pressure to one side. You don't want to apply, you know, too much pressure to one side other than the other side, because basically what will happen is you're brushing the top of your head and you're applying, I don't want to say the right pressure, but you know, you're not applying too much pressure. But then you go to your back or to one of your sides and then you're applying all this pressure down on your head. Your sides are going to lay down more than your top, and then it's going to look uneven. If you want an even, consistent stroke, even, consistent wave pattern, even, consistent strokes, and applied pressure all the way around. So basically, as you can see, it wasn't really hard for me. My crown was already found. I already found it. Or, well, it was already there, you know. Just comb around it. Basically, this is my crown here. All I'm doing is combing around it. It's as if it's a dot, and I'm putting the edge of the comb on the edge of my crown, or the edge of that circle, and I'm just combing around and away from it. So that looks good. Basically, the comb also raises your hair up. Basically, like I told you, you know, your hair, you're having problems with your connection or a certain side or a certain spot. It's just basically hair overlapping hair that's not supposed to be there, or is growing in a certain direction, but you're combing in another way or brushing in another way that's making it overlap the connecting, you know, hairs that's next to it, or the adjacent hairs that's next to it. That's just making it overlap and then either sticking up or not laying right. So you want to make sure you find the way your hair grows, the way your hair lays the best. This will better your connection and just have an even layer of hair all the way around. So basically, we're going to take my palm now, a Caesar brush, and remember, applied pressure, same amount of pressure you can use. This is how I hold the palm right here. You could use 2 fingers, or you could just use 1. 1 is less pressure, 2 is more pressure, so I'm going to use 2. This is a firmer brush than this handle brush, so I'm going to go over it first with this. Gives me a little bit more control than the actual softy. Softy is better than laying your hair down. Well, they're both softies, but this handle one for my hair basically lays it down better, betters my connection, as opposed to this one, who gives me a little bit more control, as if I was still combing it. So we're just going to go over it. Slow strokes, slow strokes, slow strokes. Remember, people, the faster you brush, the more your hair is going to curl up. The more your hair is going to curl up. When I first came to YouTube, I used to brush fast. That's because I didn't have my crown. I didn't have waves all over my head. You know, around my crown, the waves weren't there. So basically, brushing fast curled your hair up. So that's why I was doing speed brushing. Curl my hair up, get waves everywhere. You have to get waves everywhere in your head first before you decide you want to connect, before you decide you want to, you know, work on your crown. Because a pattern doesn't look right, or, well, I'm not going to say look right. A pattern is not flawless unless you have waves everywhere and your crown is on point. You know? And it takes time. It's not going to come overnight. It's not going to come in one woof or one beast. You have to take time. I came on YouTube probably about 3 years ago, you know, and every time I beast my hair out or I go through my beast mode, I see progress. You know, I see progress. I'm a very patient person, so as long as I'm seeing progress, I'm going to keep at it. You know, a lot of ways that y'all discourage yourselves because y'all believe things are just supposed to happen like this. You know, if somebody's giving you advice, you know, follow it. You know what I mean? I've never told somebody that, oh, do this, it's going to happen just like that. Never. I always tell you, it takes time. It's patience. You need to have patience to be in this game. You need to have it. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot get waves fast. Some people get them faster than others. Some people don't. You know, it just takes time. You have to be consistent with your routine. Very consistent. You know. brushing, hand rubbing lays your hair down, helps with your frizz, you know. So I do that from time to time. And then now we're just going to take the handle brush. Now this is how I hold the handle brush here. I'll hold that there for his freeze frame for you. You can hold it like that. Sometimes I keep this part of the brush in my palm and use my 2 fingers there. Sometimes I choke it up like this, more control. But we're going to keep it here. And remember, 2 fingers, more pressure. 1 finger, less pressure. We're going to go with 1 finger right now. And remember, we want to place the brush in the same spot all the time. We want to do even, consistent strokes from your crown to your hairline. Now my side, I don't use this method because it's very hard for me to, I can brush like that, but I'm so used to holding the brush like this for my side that I just hold it like this, continue to do it. Even when I was using my Diane, I would hold it like this. I found it a lot better because I brush this side more down on the angle, as you can see. And with this brush, what I like about it, I use this peak here in my crown. As you know, most brushes are square or have like the square, the boxed out part. So you have to make sure you know where you're placing the brush in your crown. So basically, I place that tip right inside my crown and just come down. And for the back to the 1 finger. And basically I'm just gonna start off from where I left off from my side, come down. Slow, even, consistent strokes. And once again, you see I changed the angle of how I hold it. It's very hard to hold it the way I do my top and my back right. But I'm keeping the brush on the same angle as if I was brushing the back right. The same way I'm brushing the back left. And then now I go back to the 1 finger for the sides. I want you to notice I use the back of the brush here and I put it inside my crown and come down. I come from basically in the middle of my head to the side, as opposed to when I was doing this side, I just stayed here on this side and came down. For this side, in order to get my swirl, and basically this is how my hair lays down, it almost as if my hair grows this way almost. So that's how I have to brush it. If I went against it, my hair would stick up or it wouldn't curl because it would be like me brushing against my grain, really. So brush placement is the key also. Everything has to be consistent. I recommend, if you don't have time to be consistent with your brushing, don't brush your hair until you have time to do that, because you can mess up your pattern just within that little 2 minutes of you doing a quick brush. Not mess it up to the point where you no longer have waves, but mess it up to the point where you be like, damn, I should never did that. Might as well. You want to be consistent, Everybody's looking for that flawless connection. My connection is not flawless, but I'm working on it. And I notice as time goes by, the more consistent you are, is the more consistent your waves will be. I usually always start out with 2 fingers on this side because for some reason this side I have more of a problem laying down, but for some reason it's the side that's connected almost the best for me. You know, but it has more of a resistance, especially when I'm like really beasting out farther in my weeks and my hair's getting real curly. I have to brush this side with the 2-finger method, or even when I was brushing with my Diane, I would brush it a lot more because this side tends to curl up a lot more. But I apply the same pressure, you know, the same speed I'll go, you know. Oh, well, that's it. But just brush till you're satisfied, you know. You don't have to count the strokes, you know, because you could count 20 strokes on your top and 20 strokes on your back and 30 strokes on your sides, and the 30 strokes probably won't do it for this right side. You probably need more strokes, you know. Be consistent, you know, just be consistent in your strokes. And really that's about it, you know. This brush, I mean, I made my review on the brush, you know. My honest opinion, this is a very good brush. You know, even if I wasn't down with team, you know, the team CQP, I would still recommend this brush to anybody because the way the brush sets itself apart from every other brush because of the way it contours your head, first of all. The way it contours your head. I'm going to show you something. I tried brushing with my Diane after I got this brush, and it's just not working, you know. My teammate, Tress Helper, you know, he demonstrated how the brush actually contours your head. You know, the demonstration on the basketball is very unique. Basically, right there, hit the nail on the head, basically. Take that out. So basically, you see the contour of the brush. You see how it contours, basically. Diane is very flat, like most brushes. You sit the brush on top of your head. You see the region it's covering, basically, is just right here. You have space underneath the end. As opposed to this brush, which contours your head. Contours your head. Now, I'm not saying anything is wrong with the Diane, because basically, as you know, I was using that brush before this brush, and you see where it got me. But for some reason, this brush just put the final touches, you know. I don't know if it was because of the beast mode I went through last time, but my crown has gotten better. You know, like I tell you, every beast mode I go through, I see progress. And that's basically it. So, if you want to work on your crown, get you a hand mirror. You must, every waver, I believe, should have a hand mirror. You should always have your hand mirror. Not always have it walking around with it, but you know, you should have one. You should always brush in front of a mirror. You know what I mean? It's more consistent. You get to see what you're doing, see where you're placing the brush, see where you're placing your comb, you know. And I recommend you go out and get you a crown brush. Try it out. You know what I mean? Try it out for yourself. I know a lot of people, they stick to the old school, but, you know what I mean, things are getting invented every day to better your life. And I'm not saying this brush is going to better your life, but it's more advanced technology than a regular flat brush. You have a brush here that's going to contour your head. You know, You don't have to apply as much pressure with this brush as you do mostly other brushes. So, I mean, go try it yourself. You know, this is a quick crown session. If you have any questions, hit my inbox. I got answers. And if I don't have answers, I'll recommend you to somebody that does have the answer. Don't be afraid to ask me anything, you know, whatever your texture hair is. I'm in a group of wavers with different texture hair, different wave patterns. We have answers. You got questions, we got the answers. Hit my inbox. Request me as a friend on Facebook. You can always catch me on Facebook, message me on Facebook if you got a question. Subscribe to my YouTube page. That's Young Wavy Forever. The number 4 EVA. On Facebook it's just Young Wavy. WAVY. You know? Like, subscribe, comment. I'm out. It's your boy, Young Wavy Forever.